and a very good day to you. I would like to speak about cults. A cult is a term we use in religious studies and academia to denote a group of people that share some type of narrative, worldview, mission. It's accompanied by usually initiations, and we say usually because it varies. An initiation, an in-group ritual. This means a certain time when you come together, say same time every week, there's a ritual. We have cult aspects of our lives in many ways. Now, in common parlance, when we hear somebody say cult, it's used in a derogatory term, as if somebody's brainwashed into something like a Charles Manson, who I think he actually got a pretty bad rap. Jimmy Swagger, I don't know if any cult leaders up in that sense, but you know who I'm talking about. The people who wore all the same running sneakers and drank poison. The Haley Bop Comet people. Well, there is also cult aspects in just about every aspect of our society where more than one person comes together. And even then, you could be on your own with a cult mentality in a cultic system. What's kind of culty? When people dress up in robes and certain oaths. Does that sound like our court system? What's with the wood hammer? Very culty. Usually when they bring you into a cult, they'll break you down emotionally, physically. A hazing process. Does that sound like our Greek fraternities and sororities at school? Cults. Oaths of secrecy. A cult. What's the Roman Catholic Church? It used to be the cult of the emperor, or the cultic practices of some goat herding Middle Easterners and some elite who from that same place in Canaan, in Sumer, modern day Iraq, Iran, Israel. We have the cult story of a certain people called the Israelites. Much of it fictitious, and that is what has shaped our worldviews and mentalities. Before I go into religion more, I like to talk about some other cults. The cult of the celebrity. The cult around Donald Trump, of the personality. The cult of celebrity worship. Stars. Pop stars. Rock stars. All stars. So we realize that we all are stars. In the thelemic ideology of and theology of Aleister Crowley, it's that we're all stars. I think he gets that from Egypt. So man, it seems, is inherently inclined towards religious practices in groups, cults, culture. A culture, religion makes up a big part of people's culture. Often they're intertwined. So when we realize that much of our Abrahamic faith, this includes Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, when we realize that they are mostly astral myth, fiction, not historical, and they were written for a certain purpose and for a certain audience, just how propaganda is pushed today. Lots of this is political propaganda pushed on us by these people who identify as the main characters of the scriptures, namely the Jewish people. Hellenized Jews, the aristocracy, the higher upper echelon, who were very much involved in the Greek community, and they were speaking Greek, and they had a big population, bigger than even Judea, in Alexandria, or Alexander, Rome, where Alexander took over, and it went from the Pharaonic dynasty to the Ptolemaic dynasty. Ptolemy is the name for that the Pope has. So the Ptolemies were in cahoots with the Jewish people there. That's where the 5 scriptures of the Septuagint was written. And that's also where the Hebrew Bible came out. They came out right next to each other at the same time in about 300 BC. Now, I'm sure there was oral tradition that lasts longer, and they put that into some writing in the Talmud. The Babylonian Talmud is the oldest one, I believe. And then there's another Talmud after that, which gives you some of their explanations, the deeper meanings, the hidden secret or kept oral traditions of the real meanings of the Bible, most of it allegorical. Some of the horrible things in the Talmud. So these people is where Christianity came from. That's where the Gospels were written. That's where the Christian religion. So then the Romans came. So what Christianity is the cult of the emperor, which is they have the same regalia as the Roman Catholic Church, mixed together, assimilated, syncretized with Judaism. And in Judaism, we get lots of the Mesopotamian myths, the Egyptian myths, the Greek myths, tied into, are already present within the Jewish stories. But we have and even Indian myth. But then we have the Romans come in more. Well, when they create the New Testament, lots of the stories of Jesus is the hero epic story, often matched up with the son, actual sons dying and rising and getting revenge. We have this more of that, those type of epic stories like the Iliad and the Odyssey, the Homeric epics, intertwined into the story of Jesus, who is very much syncretized with Mithra, which was a Persian Eastern hero, half man, half god type figure, who they had a ritual meal around. It's also, the story of Jesus is also closely tied with the story of Osiris. And then he resurrects as the son Horus. It's a father-son god motif. The father being Orion constellation, the stars that are further out in heaven. Isis got turned into the Virgin Mary. And Nephthys, the dark sister of Isis, the wife of Set, is the star Nephthys, or Neith. And she is got turned into Mary Magdalene. She's the lady of the house. This is the same lady of the house, or the lady of the inn, who takes in the 2 spies in the Old Testament and helps them to take down Haman, I think. Haman. I think Haman in the Old Testament goes to Amun Ra. So these Greeks, these priests who were Jewish, and they created a religion, the Jewish priests, using Greek for the Romans. And the Romans eventually adopted Christianity, which is a Jewish faith, as their official religion. Rome fell shortly after, because if you're a small people and you're in a bigger governed place with military rulers and your military can't take them out, that's how you use religion, propaganda, ideology to take them over. You theologically conquer somebody, you demoralize them, you strip them of their ancestral traditions and culture, got them to abandon their gods to worship a Jewish son, father, God figure. The Good Shepherd, Mithras. The suffering, dying god, Osiris. The rising god, Horizon, Horus. We'll give this our hours. So that's my reflection on. So what do I think? Knowing this is what I'm doing with Aquarian. Knowing this, I believe that religion gives us religion. I use that term very cautiously. But what we understand as religion gives us an opportunity to gather, to create community, to educate outside of or with power, with organization. When you have organization of something, then it works. It doesn't have to be top down. And so I'm looking to create, because when we realize that this was all what I just explained, then what? Okay, so then what do we believe in? Is there still a God? Is there still some collective conscious that we're all a part of? We can't really explain consciousness much. I believe our early ancestors, they all collectively believed in what has been labeled animism in religious studies, which is a way of classifying a culture's beliefs and practices and theology. And they thought that everything was animated, animism. Everything was animated with God, if you will, including us in a very special way. I think that's healthy. And you don't even have to believe that in order to participate in Aquarianism. It's totally optional. Some people have a much more materialistic, physical view of this world. That would be our precious earth signs. The Capricorn, Virgo, Tauruses. Some are more inclined to working with the elements and spirit. The water and fire signs. Some are good at communicating and thinking in the brain world. Air signs. Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. But using the seasons, invoking the elements, building community based on virtues, encouraging each other in our journeys on life, being there for each other. Us, the Aquarian, as a source of healing, as a source of knowledge, of hidden knowledge, being exposed to it, education. Softball teams. Pancake breakfasts. All right.